Deep beneath the sands of Egypt, perfectly straight artificial lines appear on the radar screen.
That was the very first time that some strong indication that there might be these hidden tunnels and chambers under the Sphinx.
These aren't natural caves. They are rooms. And for decades, Zahi Hawass, the king of Egyptian antiquities, dismissed these theories as nonsense.
Everyone think that there is tunnels and rooms under the tomb. 20 to 30 meters down. Nothing. No aliens. The Sphinx is a solitude.
He controlled the narrative. But now he's made a shocking reversal. He admits something is down there, something he's kept hidden. Before he dies, Hawass is telling the truth about the chambers under the Sphinx. What he's revealed confirms what many have suspected. The official story is not the whole story. The lion, the man, and the lie. If you know anything about Egypt, you know Zahi Hawass's face. With his signature fedora, Hawass became the passionate, immovable, and controversial face of Egyptian archaeology. He was the ultimate authority, the guardian of the Giza Plateau, the man who decided what the world could see and what must remain hidden. His mission was to protect Egypt's narrative, to ensure its story was told by Egyptians. And for decades, he stood as a barrier, debunking myths and silencing theories that challenged the official story. But now, as his legendary career draws to a close, Zahi Hawass has made a confession that has sent shockwaves around the globe. He has admitted that the truth about what lies beneath the Sphinx must be told before he passes on. The evidence, he now says, is undeniable. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed what human eyes cannot see. Sealed shafts have been mapped. An underground chamber, one that no one has been allowed to enter for decades, sits in documented silence right beneath the monument. The sensors don't lie, and the man who spent his life denying it can no longer keep silent. To understand the weight of this, you have to understand the man. Hawass rose from humble beginnings to become Egypt's chief antiquities officer. He was celebrated for returning Egypt's heritage to Egyptian hands, but he was also criticized for being too controlling, too quick to dismiss theories that didn't fit. And at the very center of his world was the Sphinx. The conventional view is simple. The Sphinx was built by Pharaoh Khafra around 2500 BC to guard his pyramid. But here's the catch. The mystery has never been that simple. The thing nobody tells you is that, unlike almost every other Egyptian monument, there are 0 inscriptions on the Sphinx naming its builder. Not even one. The earliest text that even mentions it, the Dream Stela, was placed between its paws over 1,000 years after Khafra, and even it treats the Sphinx as an ancient mystery. But the most fascinating part is what's carved into the Sphinx's own body. Deep, vertical fissures cut into its flanks. This is not the work of wind and sand. This is classic, large-scale water erosion. Geologists have argued that this suggests the Sphinx was exposed to thousands of years of heavy rainfall. But the Giza Plateau has been a bone-dry desert for over 5,000 years. This evidence suggests the unthinkable, that the Sphinx could be thousands of years older than the pyramids themselves. For decades, Hawass dismissed such tales as fantasy. But privately, new data kept emerging. Instruments detected voids where solid rock should be, and the man who guarded Egypt's secrets began to wonder. What if the skeptics were right? What was found in the 90s was so shocking, it had to be buried. The radar that saw too much. The crisis began quietly in the early 1990s. Teams were using ground-penetrating radar, or GPR, around the Sphinx, mostly to check the stability of the aging monument. The technology was new, using waves to map what was underground without digging. But what the sensors revealed sent tremors through the archaeological world. The radar detected clear anomalies. These were not random. They were rectangular, geometric cavities hidden beneath the Sphinx's paws and along its side. They appeared to be chambers, deliberately carved. The media frenzy surrounding the discovery was immediate. Headlines screamed about the discovery of the legendary Hall of Records. Followers of the American mystic Edgar Cayce, who had predicted a chamber of wisdom would be found there, claimed this was it. The pressure on Egyptian authorities to dig became enormous. Zahi Hawass found himself in an impossible position. Publicly, He was the voice of skepticism. He gave interviews explaining that radar anomalies don't always mean treasure. They could just be natural cracks in the rock. He was the guardian, protecting the official story. But privately, behind closed doors, Hawass was doing something very different. He ordered a deeper investigation. He had to know what was down there. In 1997, a secret excavation was launched. The details even today are shrouded in mystery and official denials. What we do know is that a team, including American researchers, worked with Egyptian authorities. They brought in advanced sensors, far more sophisticated than the first GPR. These new tools could tell the difference between air, water, and solid rock. The results were stunning. The instruments confirmed clear, empty spaces approximately 25 feet below the surface, directly beneath the Sphinx's northern paw. The size and sharp, regular shape of these voids screamed artificial construction. They looked like rooms, or perhaps corridors, carved right into the bedrock. Some readings even hinted at worked stone, maybe the remains of walls or doorways. But just as the investigation was reaching its peak, everything stopped. A political storm erupted. Authorities, worried about what might be found and the media circus that would follow, abruptly revoked all permits. The research team was told to leave. The data they had collected was classified. And then, work crews were ordered to fill in the exploratory shafts that had been dug. Sand was pushed back over the site. An official, deafening silence fell over the entire project. For Zahi Hawass, this was a moment of profound crisis. He was a scientist, trained to follow evidence. Yet here he was, part of an official suppression of that very evidence. He was forced to choose between science and his political role as guardian. And for nearly 30 years, he kept his doubts private, maintaining his public mask of skepticism, even as the evidence continued to pile up. The secret dig was buried, but the data wouldn't stay hidden forever. The granite clue. Just because the official dig was shut down, it didn't mean the evidence went away. In fact, technological advances over the next 20 years made the case for hidden chambers impossible to ignore. But the first clues had come even before the 1997 crisis. Back in 1991, a top-tier Japanese team from Waseda University, led by Dr. Sakuji Yoshimura, had conducted the first major geophysical survey of the plateau. They detected significant subsurface anomalies all around the Sphinx, especially beneath the northern paw. Their detailed maps showed chambers that looked artificial, but their report was published in academic journals and was largely missed by the Western media. Then, between 2009 and 2018, Egypt's own Supreme Council of Antiquities conducted new surveys. They used next-generation GPR and seismic profiling. This was all supposed to be internal, classified data, just for conservation planning. But, as these things do, portions of the data eventually leaked. The leaked surveys confirmed two major anomalies. The first, beneath the northern paw, was a large rectangular void. It measured approximately 30 feet long, 40 feet wide, and at least 10 feet high, roughly the size of a large room. It was located about 25 feet below the surface. Most importantly, the radar showed sharp, regular boundaries, not the messy edges of a natural cave. The second anomaly was a long, linear feature, like a tunnel or corridor, running along the central body of the Sphinx. But the final, undeniable proof came in 2023. As part of an initiative to create 3D models for virtual tourism, cutting-edge, AI-assisted computed tomography was used on the Sphinx. This technology, borrowed from medical imaging, could analyze tiny variations in density, all through the monument. The AI confirmed the large cavity, mapping it with incredible precision at 30 by 40 feet. And it revealed something else, what appeared to be access points, possible doorways or shafts connecting it to the surface. This wasn't speculation anymore. This was hard science, confirmed by multiple independent methods, and the context on the ground supported it. The Giza Plateau is a honeycomb of underground features. The mysterious Osiris shaft, for example, plunges over 100 feet straight down into the bedrock. The ancient Egyptians were masters of building below ground, And then there's the granite. During structural assessments, core samples taken from beneath the Sphinx contained granite dust. But granite is not native to Giza. The local rock is all limestone. Granite had to be hauled from Aswan, hundreds of miles south. It was reserved for the most important things. Finding granite under the Sphinx strongly suggests the presence of a deliberately built, high-status structure. With so much proof, why has no one been allowed to just open it? What the workers saw. All of this compelling evidence raises one obvious question. If the data is real, if multiple surveys have confirmed these chambers, why hasn't anyone been allowed to just excavate? The answer is a complex mess of legal restrictions, political fears, and economic calculations. The official reason is structural. Egyptian law forbids digging directly beneath the Sphinx. The monument is fragile, weakened by millennia of erosion. The fear is that any excavation could destabilize the 66-foot-tall statue, causing it to collapse. No archaeologist wants to be the person responsible for destroying the Sphinx. But, as you might guess, structural concerns are only part of the story. The thing nobody tells you is that tourism is the lifeblood of modern Egypt. It's a billion-dollar industry that employs millions of people. And the Giza Plateau is the crown jewel of that industry. That whole industry runs on a comfortable, well-established narrative. The story of the pharaohs, the pyramid builders, the glory of ancient Egypt. Introducing uncertainty into that story is a massive risk. What if they excavate the chambers and they're empty? Stripped clean by ancient looters? The global disappointment could damage Egypt's mystique. But there's a worse fear. What if the chambers aren't empty? What if they contain evidence that challenges the official timeline? What if they find artifacts proving the Sphinx is older than the pyramids, or that a sophisticated civilization existed before the pharaohs? Such a discovery would throw decades of scholarship into chaos. It would mean the history books are wrong. Then there's the painful history of foreign involvement. For over a century, Western institutions dominated Egypt, taking the best finds. The Rosetta Stone is in London. The bust of Nefertiti is in Berlin. This history created a deep suspicion of foreign researchers. Zahi Hawass himself built his entire career on reclaiming Egyptian heritage. This is why the 1997 incident, where foreign researchers were kicked out and their data classified, was so explosive. This is also why stories from on-site workers have always been suppressed. For decades, workers have told stories of finding sealed doorways during routine maintenance, only to be ordered to wall them up immediately. They've told of tapping on the ground near the northern paw and hearing a deep, hollow sound, the sound of an open space below. The forbidden theory that haunts the plateau is that these chambers contain pre-dynastic artifacts. Such a discovery would be archaeological dynamite, challenging not just history, but for some, even religious timelines. For authorities, the potential for controversy has made them extremely cautious. But now, the one man who enforced that caution is finally telling the truth. As Zahi Hawass entered his late 70s, the weight of his legacy became clear. He had spent 5 decades in the sand, discovering tombs and presenting Egypt's wonders to the world. But the Sphinx, the monument he had defended for so long, remained the unresolved question mark of his entire career. In recent interviews, his tone has changed completely. Gone is the absolute certainty, the dismissive skepticism. In its place is something more honest and more haunting. He has spoken of his fight for Egypt's truth, but now wonders if, in protecting Egypt from lies, he also protected it from certain uncomfortable truths. And then, he finally admitted it. He has stated publicly that beneath the Sphinx lies a man-made space. He has confirmed the data from 3 decades of surveys is real and reliable. The chambers exist. They are not natural. They were deliberately constructed and then sealed. And, most importantly, he admitted that access has been denied not just for structural reasons, but because of a complex calculation involving politics, economics, and a genuine fear of what might be found. The emotional symbolism is powerful. The Sphinx itself is half revealed and half hidden. Hawass's own legacy is the same. He is the man who both revealed Egypt to the world and the man who kept its biggest secrets buried. In one thoughtful moment, he used a metaphor saying the Sphinx faces the rising sun, the light, and the truth. But he had spent his career facing the setting sun, protecting mysteries from that same light. He confessed, "Perhaps I was facing the wrong direction." So, is this a history-changing tomb or the biggest letdown in archaeology? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because the truth is finally coming out.